you have an idea. Let me just say this. For example, I've just come from a pitching session for African startups, right? We had agriculture startups pitching. We had 250K to give away, and we couldn't give away $250,000.
Why?
Because the startups we had pitching weren't ready for it.
What was missing? Was it the way they pitch or the numbers they lack that you're looking for?
They lacked the number, they lacked the infrastructure, the companies weren't ready. So we're going to find companies that are ready to get this money. And kid you not, there are investors out there. If you're looking for $500,000, you're looking for $1 million, I have enough investors ready, waiting for you. The startups we are getting right now only are looking at $50,000, $100,000, $250,000 kind of funding. So those are many. The ones that are looking for 100,000, $500,000 and $1 million aren't as many. But they are the investors that are looking to fund at that level are many. So if your idea is a manufacturing something that can handle $100 million investment, call me.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for checking out this interview. My name is Fahad, and this is the Bold African Show, where we interview African entrepreneurs that are doing amazing things in Africa and in the diaspora. So today we have a very special guest, Eunice Nyandat. She's a Kenyan entrepreneur and founder and chief marketing officer of MyBizMarketer. We're going to be talking about what that is and other ventures that she's currently working on. We have a lot to talk about, so let's jump right in. Welcome, Eunice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you. I believe that people will learn so much from you. And without further ado, can you start by, I know I introduced you a little bit, but can you talk about who you are and what you do?
So again, as you said, my name is Eunice Nyandat, and I run a company called MyBizMarketer. It was the first company I started. It's a digital marketing, digital advertising company that does advertising and marketing for startups, but we also take on small, medium, and mid-sized companies branding services. However, the key component is working with startups in the African continent. Now, we recently started MBM Africa, which is a business that focuses on empowering African founders across the globe to innovate, systemize, and grow businesses by connecting them with networks, investors, and championing them to grow to the big brands would like to see. The rest of the world can talk about brands that are 600 years old, 100 years old. We struggle in the African continent to find brands that are that old. Yeah, we have some brands that are knocking on 100, but they're not that many. So we would like to build brands that are that old. And there's a breakdown of companies underneath MBM Africa, which is MBM Labs. MBM Labs incubates young people with ideas and helps them commercialize those ideas. So we help those young people find the legs on those ideas and then take them all the way to commercialization, show them how to build a minimum viable company, minimum viable team, and then build an audience around that company to then grow on to be a mainstay brand. And then the MBM Skills helps the young people right out of high school and right out of uni to hone some skills that can then support the said startups. What's happening is our startups are competing with corporate worlds in hiring, and they can't afford the pay scales those corporates pay the employees. So they luck out when it comes to building teams. So we can support them and build their teams at an affordable rate then they can survive. So, and that, which means then our young people then can get jobs at right of high schools and right of university. And with, of course, the MyBizMarketer then supports that, those umbrellas of those companies along the way, with marketing and product development and product management and go-to-market strategies to, to get them to the level they need to be.
Awesome. Yeah, such an incredible job that you're doing for startups in Kenya and Africa. We're gonna dive into the details of the projects that you're involved with. But before we get there, can we step back and learn about what inspired MyBizMarketer? I noticed that you have a background in computer science, and then you did marketing in grad school. Like, what inspired you to get into the marketing world, and what inspired MyBizMarketer venture?
Well, in training, I've actually have a background in cybersecurity. So, as a cybersecurity analyst for a telecommunications company in the States, way back when, and I was thrown to the deep end, and way back when the role of product manager was just beginning to be a thing, and I was asked, "Would you like to be a product manager?" And I said, "Yeah, whatever that means." And they said, "Well, yeah, go ahead, do it." And this was a $100 million product, so. Truly did not know what that means. And to be a product owner and product manager is almost being the CEO of a product, and putting it to bringing a concept together and putting it into market. You need to know everything encompassing this product: the finance, the sales, the marketing, the development, the code, everything. So just getting involved in that got me so excited about entrepreneurship, and that's when I got started with my first venture. And the first venture actually was a lifestyle business, and that lifestyle business was for busy moms, and it didn't work out. Busy moms in Atlanta at that time didn't care to be assisted. They wanted to be busy. If they wanted to be super busy. So, I quickly found out through analytics and research that they didn't want assistance, but techies who are startups, tech founders who are starting up, wanted to code all night, work all day, so they would pay for the services of a lifestyle company to run errands, go get their beamers washed, go get their suits dry cleaned, get us groceries, stock for a party, and all that good stuff. So they paid us for that. And that's how I got into that business. And then 2008 happened, and what happened in 2008? We had a bust financial markets, and there's no money, and lifestyle business went bye-bye. But they still wanted assistance with marketing and ads and slides here and there. So that's what I did. I pivoted from the lifestyle to marketing, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's an incredible story. So,
thank you.
Yeah, so you got into marketing, started helping startups. Was that here in America?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So you started by assisting startups, and when did you decide to branch out to Africa?
So I usually travel to Kenya like every other year, and every other year I'd say, I want to come back to Kenya. I want to come back to Kenya, and I felt if I gotta make the leap to Kenya, I want to start getting my hands dirty in working in Kenya. So I'd try and see if I can work with Kenyan startups, and I did start out by working with a few brands in Kenya, and I got to get a feel. That started in 2014. When I finally moved back in 2016, I went on to the deep end and just full on to, got involved in the community. So I'd go to meetups, I'd go to boot camps for startups, I'd volunteer to, to market the events. And then that way I'd meet startups. And from there, I'd then be able to get hired for marketing services and such. So nobody knew me, and most Kenyans wouldn't hire you. They don't know you. So the only way to get known was to get involved in that respect. And that's how I got started.
Awesome. Yeah. So since you started helping startups in Kenya, how many clients have you helped so far
Oh
with their
gosh.
marketing?
So between startups and SMEs, we can say we've helped maybe 100.
100. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. So can you tell us, for those who have never been to Kenya, we hear a lot of stories, Kenyan
Mm-hmm.
startups raising a bunch
Mm-hmm.
millions and millions of dollars. They have like a rich ecosystem
Mm-hmm.
compared to most African countries. Can you tell us what your experience has been when it comes to like Kenyan startup ecosystem? What challenges do you see there? What are the areas that present opportunities for entrepreneurs?
What makes the Kenyan ecosystem so vibrant is that the infrastructure is fantastic. It's grown. First of all, access to internet is getting better and better every day. Most homes, homes are getting fiber to the house, which means now you have internet ready or and internet on all the time. Mobile access now, most people have mobile, and I can say at least every home has a smartphone, right? So whenever they have a feature phone, everybody has a feature phone. There's at least one smartphone in the house so that they can access things like your Facebook, your WhatsApp, and Instagram, all the social networks they need to access, as well as browse the web and all that good stuff. Now, with that said, most people are consuming the news, politics, and business news on those devices, and of course, everybody's on their mobile phone, not their desktops, not iPads, which pretty much on a mobile phone. Now, with that said, the youth have nothing much better to do than look to see what the rest of the world is up to, right? With
Yep.
that also is the access to televisions, right? We've now got the flat screens everywhere. The clubs and the restaurants have the screens everywhere. So YouTube and all this, it's everywhere. So right, the kids are watching this stuff, so they're getting exposed to stuff. Um, Kids have ideas and they want to explore, and they're playing around with things. They're gaming, they're attempting stuff. Or those in universities get together and try things out, and they want to solve problems, and they're anxious to solve problems. With the uptick of M-Pesa and what happened with M-Pesa, and subsequently other startups, that has given the youth the when I say the excitement to try and see if they can get their startups to go to that level, right? Now the
Yep.
challenge with that is that it's so many ideas, a lot of inexperience, a lot of immaturity, chasing money that's not there. We do not have the VC network that Silicon Valley has or Europe has. Like it said, yes, there are ideas that um, have been funded greatly, but notice the ideas that have been funded, what their team composition looks like. I want you to take a look at the team compositions of all those startups that have been funded, and then look at a regular Kenyan team, and then you figure it out. I'm not going to tell you what that is.
Yep.
The challenge with our African startups is that by the time they get to that level, they've struggled so much they give up, and they give up way too soon, right? So
Yep.
the idea is they have it, they are anxious to pitch and get money, but it doesn't always work like that. So the assumption
Yep.
is at Silicon Valley is that you have a piece of paper, this is your slides, you get there, you pitch, money is poured, and off you go. But the problem is sometimes some people do pitch and get money, but they don't use that money to do what they intended to do. It's
Yeah.
gone to buying a car, a desk, nice
Yeah.
offices in Upper Hill or somewhere. But to build the MVP is
Yeah.
just this little piece of the pie, right? So
Yeah.
that's the maturity and the rigor that I'm talking about that's missing, and the experience that I'm talking about that's missing.
Yeah.
Why it works? I mean, why you see why folks in Rwanda or Uganda or Tanzania would like to launch in Kenya is because of the infrastructure, the internet, the payment system. You've got people willing to try tech, people willing to pay for it, and that's why it's so easy to start out in Kenya.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. So you've talked about these startups that successfully raise money.
Mm-hmm.
They successfully convince these foreign investors to invest in them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what do you think makes them successful, and what do you think the other startups who don't get funding are missing?
Well, again, this is a conversation being had, right? Well, I'm going to say this. For one, again, look at the composition of who's been funded and who's not. Very
Yeah.
rarely do you find an all African team being funded. Very rarely. All right. They have been funded, but very rarely. Now, the other thing is the maturity of the team, the lack of entrepreneurial understanding. Even I don't have that entrepreneurial understanding. And I'm actually putting these programs, the MBM skills, the MBM labs, because if I had this when I was starting out, I'd be somewhere else right now, right? I'll be the investor. I'll be the VC now investing in African startups, right? I wouldn't be here trying to put this together, right? Our kids right out of uni, they sit in a university class and will do a software development program and come out of that program without ever having coded or having held a laptop. So imagine this, you're sending them out to develop an idea, and it requires coding, and then it requires them to go pitch that idea to an investor, and then they need to understand financial modeling.
Yeah.
See my problem there?
Big problem. Yeah. So speaking of these problems, you've also expanded to solving those other problems that you've noticed in the Africa's startup ecosystem. You have MBM skills and MBM labs. Can you briefly talk about what those are and how you help these startups?
So the idea, for example, we'll start with MBM Labs. The idea is it's an 18-month program for labs. That you come in and say, hi, my name is Eunice. I have this idea. I've already started working on it, but I don't know where to go from here. And we start first with the foundation of what entrepreneurship is. You go through what it means to have a mission and a vision in building a company, understanding cash flow, sit in front of the computer and basics of Excel, all the basics foundations of entrepreneurship. And then we discuss your idea. And by that time, you probably are then going through in your head, going through your idea, going, well, then if that's what I learned in finance, then my idea probably doesn't make sense because then I'm not making money. Because when you came in, you had this notion that I'm going to make $1 million in Kenya. And what you were selling at 10 shillings, and 10 shillings at a piece, you probably have to sell, I don't know how many pieces an hour over and over again to get to that $1 million, right? So then you quickly realize that the market size in Kenya won't get you $1 million. You have to rethink that whole equation again, right? So then this is what we're trying to teach people, because they'll come and tell you, I have a business and it's going to make $1 million, so please give me give me $500,000 and we become rich with me. And we ask them, what is your market size? Oh, yeah. I saw that we have 57 million people in Kenya. the assumption they're making is that they're going to sell the thing to 57 million people. And then you ask them, if you consider that some of those 57 million people are 0 to 10 years, are those people buying too? Oh, no, but their parents will buy for them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So then is when they it clicks to them. Oh, I can't count the whole 57 million or 47 million people because those aren't buying. All those people aren't going to be buying, right?
Yeah.
If I'm selling shoes and I'm selling red shoes and I'm selling red high heels, only women will be buying red high heels. Men will not be buying red high heels. Only women wear red high heels, but not all women wear red high heels.
Yeah.
Only some women wear red high heels. Eunice is not going to wear red high heels. Some women will not wear red high. Shosho is not going to wear red high heels, meaning my grandmother wouldn't wear red high heels. So then you cut that market, then you realize, if I thought I was going to make $1 million shillings a month, I can't possibly do it because there are not enough women willing to buy red high heels every month to make my million. So those are the things we're trying to teach people to understand: market size, how much they're willing to make, so that then they really evaluate their ideas, really understand what business is, because their idea is, they think is, if only they can sell, they can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So once they get
That's
that,
great.
they quickly move away from that idea and start rethinking their idea over again. And we help them now polish up and get better at the idea generation.
Yeah. Great. So what does it take for these entrepreneurs to join your programs and take advantage of these resources that you provide?
So there's a form on our website, mbmlabafrica.com. You go on there and just get on the waiting list. And then once they're invited, we take 20 people. We have a cohort of 20. We have a cohort of
So
20, and they. So
is it free or?
Oh, no, it's not free. So there's a fee to it.
Okay.
We've got to pay instructors. There's resources you have to consume. So we have to pay, we have to pay for the resources you consume and all that good stuff. But the end of it all is that we'll get you networks, we'll get you investors, we'll get you to the end goal, right? If we see that it's not a fit for you and you're not ready to go, you can wait until you're ready to go, and then you can join back up again and resume the program.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, you're doing a lot for the startup ecosystem in Africa. And are these do you only allow Kenyans, or it's like Africa wide? Anyone can apply?
It's Africa wide. If you're African, you can apply.
Okay, awesome. All right. So we're in the pandemic. Hopefully, this thing will stop soon and things will go back to normal. But you had clients when the pandemic hit. Let's talk about how your clients were affected or businesses were affected. Maybe let's talk specifically to Kenya and how, what are you doing for your clients to help them get back on their feet, and also implement strategies that can help them, grow their business post-pandemic?
Actually, this pandemic is the reason why MBM Africa actually exists. Because what happened to some of our clients is that because they resisted to go online. For example, I'll give you an example. MBM, MyBizMarketer, has always been totally digital. You work with us, we invoice electronically, contracts are electronic, there's nothing on paper, right? So we work with systems like CRMs and everything that we could use online, we do. So when this pandemic happened and we had to work from home, we had no problem. We could work from anywhere. I'm in Boston right now, and I work from here, and my team has no problem. We we meet on Zoom and meet and exchange files and continue working. But most of our clients had challenges just getting work done because a file is sitting in a files cabinet somewhere. When they need to access it, somebody has to go into the office. So when you're working from home, you can't access it, right? So then there are other things you have to do that you maybe want to do some things, or you want to do a marketing campaign, but your customer list is in an Excel file, but it's sitting in somebody's laptop that is it's not with you right there and then. And that person probably doesn't have internet, therefore can't share it with you, and all and on and on and on. So a lot of people discovered that they were not prepared for a disaster. This was a disaster for businesses. They were not prepared for this, right? So one of the things we're trying to do is help business innovate, right? Because some of the, for example, this pandemic for sure has killed certain businesses. Look at what it probably not totally killed them all, but for example, Airbnb. Look at the hospitality industry. Recovery is going to be difficult for them. It's going to be a while. The pandemic is here for it's not going to go away. It's not going away. It's going to be the flu that comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. We pull back and we reopen, or there's some measures that slows the normal resumption, the resuming of business, right? So that if your capacity in a restaurant is 60, you're reduced to 40. Right, so that means a table turnover, which you are doing, you are having a turnover of maybe every 2 hours. Your turnover now is every 4 hours. So the revenue you are generating then now is reduced, right? So things like that have to happen. So what do you then do to make more money? So we are trying to show folks how they can then innovate, right? So whether you're in the restaurant business, whether you're in hospitality, or you are in service, and you try and find some ways to spin out or pivot, or completely shut down and start a whole new business. And it takes sitting down and taking serious stock on what you're doing, and being true to yourself and saying, this is not going to work. No matter what we do, the way things are going, we have to do some things differently. And sometimes you as a business owner, are so focused on your business, you've got blinders on, you're so determined to make it work, and you will not see when you're driving up to a wall. So when you've got consultants coming and showing you, this is the wall, you're heading to the wall, but if you do this, you can avoid it. You're better off opening your doors to those consultants or folks to tell you, experts to guide you, so that you can pivot and avoid the walls. So that's what MBM Africa does. I think of a lot of our African business owners who are sitting in the diaspora wondering, what can I do? And some of you have sitting here with expertise that you could go come to Africa and help guys innovate. You have SAP skills, you have developer skills. I'm hearing guys here paying tens and thousands of dollars for developers. We need you. You can make a killing out here.
Yeah. Wow. Can we expand on that a little bit? Like exactly. So, yeah, like you say, there are a lot of folks in the diaspora who have the skills and expertise to be able to help those businesses
on gold
in
mines.
Africa. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you mention specifically like the skills that are in high demand that folks
So it's not high demand. It's because Kenyans or not Africans don't know they need these skills. You really have to come and market yourself. For example, let's talk about supply chain. We've got all these companies building logistics companies, right? But they still don't nail the logistics process properly. All right, they don't understand where the break is, because they know they want to get things from point A to B. They know this, but they don't know where their gaps are. But we know we have experts out here who know we've worked with the DHLs, we've worked with the FedExes, or we've worked in supply chains for years that would come sit down with me with a small startup, and within 5 minutes be able to spot where the issue is, and maybe even look at an application and say you're missing this, 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 and this, right? And they write your invoice of your consultation fee. All right. But I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's you come and then make a case for yourself, run a business for yourself, right? All these skills, we're only going to make a difference in Africa if we all come and say, okay, this is my expertise and I'm going to make a business about building this business that way. Agriculture needs the same thing. It needs engineering, it needs supply chain, it needs AI, it needs machine learning, we need data. Data scientists are badly needed in Africa. Healthcare needs your data scientists as well, right? We have shortages of pathologists in data in healthcare. We have shortages of doctors. I can't even begin to say, private care, those guys who set up office come to my practice, not the ones in the hospital, in the practice. But there's so many other opportunities. I could go on and on, but I'm just saying, whatever skills, you're not coming to be employed, you're coming to create a business for yourself. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So there are opportunities for creators, entrepreneurs, problem solvers. So they have to go with a creator mindset to create those opportunities.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So do you think there are any pandemic-proof businesses for folks who want to get into entrepreneurship and they're afraid of, starting a brick and mortar business, and they're like, oh, what if I started another pandemic hits? Like, what kind of, have you seen businesses that are pandemic-proof? That
alcohol
were able to
is
thrive?
Pandemic proof. Healthcare pandemic. Funerals are pandemic proof. Come on, they're pandemic
proof.
Okay.
There are people who don't want to do the research, who want to know. These areas you can actually build like a digital business, or maybe business that doesn't require you to be in a specific geographical locations. If you have any ideas on that, I think our audience would greatly benefit from that.
Let me not be the one that generates the ideas for you, because I think if the idea is yours, it's even better because you have the expertise in your head. What I'm going to tell you is that in the sectors that need the help the most, and agriculture is one. For one, look what's happened to the States, to the Arabs, to Europe. Europe's looking to us, Africa, to feed it. China is going to badly need somebody to supply its food. And it's already feeding the United States, and it can't feed itself, right? We also need to feed ourselves. We don't have food security, and we sometimes have to depend on this Western world, and we get junk when we get food from them, right? We get crap. So we've not even begun to solve the problem of food security and having food storage, proper food storage, supply chains, and even selling to each other. Nigeria needs rice. It will get rice faster from China than it would from Kenya. We have an overabundance of supply of onions in Ethiopia, and Nigeria is lacking onions, and they're getting a supply of onions from Holland, not Ethiopia. What's wrong with us?
Wow.
Why? So that's one. Healthcare is another. Let's see what else. There's education. I kid you not, education needs to be turned on its head. Engineering, chemical engineering, biotech. we need to make our own medications. We can't be importing all the way from India. Once this pandemic starts happening every now and then, do you think we'll be getting supplies? We'll be the last ones to get supplies. Manufacturing. Yeah. Do you want us to be getting stuff from China? They'll be dictating now. They're now king.
Yeah. So you would say there's so many opportunities, so many industries that people can tap into. But what do you think stops people from investing in those areas, or even coming to Africa to take advantage of those opportunities?
Why should people come to Africa to take advantage? Why aren't we Africans taking that advantage?
Yeah, we do, but we do have Africans on the continent and a huge, population of Africans in the diaspora, right? And who are even, skilled, who have expertise in different areas. Like, what do you think they don't come to Africa and take advantage of those opportunities? Like, what is
great?
Is it a problem of like lack of information or being lied to? Like, what's going on?
I could have said it was the politics in Africa, but now I don't think so. Because look at the politics here. It's just as bad, isn't it? Listen, corrupt systems are everywhere. As I know people say corruption in Kenya is ridiculous. I agree. It drives me crazy, and it's terrible. And I don't want to say come play the game. You can do it your way and try not to play that game of bribery and whatnot. Do the best you can to avoid it. Wherever you are, whichever country you go to, do the best you can and do it there. I know of a French woman who created a manufacturing company in Kenya and actually 3 other African countries, and done well. And now she's selling the company and going in and doing well for herself. So if she could do it, why can't we? Right? So, and other people come and do the same outside, and they're not Africans. Why are we Africans having a problem doing it? I think it's that we are afraid of what our people will say, or are people not buying from us? We are afraid of failing. And the day you let go that fear of failing and enjoy failing so that you can begin and again and again and again and just enjoy it, just fail and try again, fail and try again. It becomes part of you, because it's the way that America was built. People failed, they try again, they failed and tried again and again and again, and it got done. The 4th time was a charm, and we get it done.
Yeah.
It will have to start with just saying enough is enough, and just come down and do whatever you can.
Yeah.
And the pleasure of actually trying something and having it finally work after so many attempts, it's such a joy you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would you tell people who want to do that, who want to participate in the development of Africa, but then they're like, oh, okay, I can't throw everything away and come home, or I can't risk, just starting from scratch without knowing the market. Are there things they can do without necessarily being on the ground to
absolutely
contribute? You talked about funding startups.
Yeah.
That is like one way people can get involved, helping businesses. But there are platforms that allow people to invest or support startups in Kenya.
There are so many, so many. Go on LinkedIn and just Google, just search African startups and then African ecosystem, and look at the hubs: NILAB, iHub, CC Hub. And then look at the other organizations that are supporting African startup ecosystems, and engage anybody, myself, anybody that is in that ecosystem to guide you in getting started, right? If and when you have an idea, let me just say this. For example, I've just come from a pitching session for African startups, right? We had agriculture startups pitching. We had 250K to give away, and we couldn't give away $250,000.
Why?
Because the startups we had pitching weren't ready for it.
What was missing? Was it the way they pitch or the numbers they lack that you're looking for?
They lacked the number, they lacked the infrastructure, the companies weren't ready. So we're going to find companies that are ready to get this money. And kid you not, there are investors out there. If you're looking for $500,000, you're looking for $1 million, I have enough investors ready waiting for you. The startups we are getting right now only are looking at $50,000, $100,000, $250,000 kind of funding. So those are many. The ones that are looking for 100,000, $500,000 and $1 million aren't as many. But they are the investors that are looking to fund at that level are many. So if your idea is a manufacturing something that can handle $1 million investment, call me.
Wow. Yeah, that is so surprising that you have the money, you're not able to find the startups who can come and grab it and, go build
They're not
their dream.
ready. They'll be there. They'll graduate. At seed level, you probably don't want to take that much yet. It's clever. Don't take that much yet. At seed level, you take a little bit, grow until you're able to handle $500,000, and then grow a little bit more, and then you take $1 million. You do want to graduate. It's kind of like going to the bank and borrowing 1 billion, and you're selling sweets on the streets. You don't want to do that. You want to wait until you're selling Beamers, then you can go and borrow that much. So you want to graduate. But if your idea is that great, that big, like you're putting solar panels in Garissa or northern Kenya to put to light up Garissa, and this is gonna cost you maybe $10 million. Yeah, that makes sense. And you need an investor. Yeah, we got a connection. Or you want to talk to stuff like that. Have people that are waiting to hear renewable energy is a place that people are very interested. Clean tech, people are very interested in hearing about smart cities. Come on, there's a lot. Affordable housing, that is a big play as well.
Yeah.
Affordable housing across Africa is badly needed.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's so many people who are interested in like real estate. A lot of people think it's a secure investment vehicle
not
to
your
use to protect
your fancy expensive homes. No, it's the affordable home.
Not a house with a pool.
No, not the house with the pool and a parting green and stuff. Not those.
Affordable housing. Okay.
Affordable housing.
All right. Yeah. So I guess for people who want to invest or who have like great ideas, can you give them like advice on things they can have ready when they're pitching their ideas to investors that would increase the chances of getting funded?
Do your homework.
So you said that I was saying you said they weren't ready. They missed out on an opportunity. What are the few things? I know there are many, but what are the few things they can do to increase the odds of getting funded?
So let me just walk you through something. So it cannot just be an idea stage written on a piece of paper, right? It has to be that you've worked on it, you've got a team ready, you've talked to people, you've even probably got customers ready. This is an idea that has legs, okay? That people can write a check to. So it can't be today you can fold it up and it disappears. All right. So make sure it's got substance to it.
Yep.
Investors will only buy it if it's got substance to it. So when you do up your pitch decks, you've got projections of what you're going in the next 18 months, if nothing, even up to 3 years. You've got your financial model, how you're going to make money, what the problem is. Make sure you know you're not. It's not a solution chasing a problem. It's a problem with a solution that you know people are willing to pay for it because that problem is so painful, right? You're
Yep.
really solving a problem here. With that, and that it has a good market size. It's not going to solve a problem that is maybe for a number of people. That's it. They're only buying once and forget it. You want to make sure it's something that is going to have good returns, and that investor sees an opportunity of getting their money back. If they don't see, they think it's somewhere they're going to lose money, they'll be gone.
Yeah. So how important it is to have a team, to not just be a sole founder.
It's like paramount. You must
Okay.
have a team. You must have a team. The team of one gets no funding.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
team of one
have
gets
a
no
team.
funding. Yeah, have a team.
Okay.
4 people, good. You can be 4
So what
co-founders and
if
it will
it
work.
okay,
Mhm.
great. What if you have an idea in an area, not an idea, but your business is in the area where you don't have a track record or expertise. It's like a new area where you see there is potential. There is this problem. You believe you can
Mhm.
put together a team that can
Mhm.
solve it. Can you be trusted by the investors?
Yes, as long as you have a team with you that knows what they're doing.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing those insights. And so we know that Africa is growing so fast in terms of development, the population. Like, what is your idea of like Africa in the next 5 to 10 years? Where do you see Africa going?
If we are not careful, we'll be watching the white people take it over.
Hmm.
This is going to be the hard ticket.
We see that happening already, right? Um,
Yes, I see it happening already. It is the hard ticket. And remember that we got the youngest population. Everybody else, Europe's population is old, aging, and disappearing. Japan's population is so old, they desperately need people to work for them, right? Australia, the same. We are the only people with the youngest population.
hmm.
Only people with the youngest population. And still, we're popping out babies. So when
So
human capital, when they say human capital is key, look around the world and look and see where the human capital is going to be. To think about it this way, not just human capital for physical labor and work, right? There's also human capital in brain power. Who will have the brains? So if we don't knock
hmm.
education upside the head and do something about education, we're the ones who are going to be ruling the world if we want to, because we'll be the young ones.
Hmm.
We'll be the young ones. These guys will be old.
So would you say the number one priority for African nations is to invest in education? As
Absolutely. And not the old type of education, not factory style education where we line up for year after year after year after year learning. No, this is involvement, sitting at your desk and out in the farm doing something, out in the factory doing something, out in the startup building something. You're learning in immersion, complete immersion. And so that if you are going to be a doctor, you're already immersed from primary school. If you're going to be a computer scientist, you're already immersed from primary school.
Wow. So we know that there's that problem of infrastructure, building schools costs a lot of money. And Africa has like other areas where this government prioritize in terms of investment and stuff. Do you think online education is something to tap into that can help solve that problem of having physical schools where kids have to go? You think online education can help in tackling that problem?
It can only help because one of the things that we're going to say, it's access. When people don't have it's access, right? I'm thinking, what's the last time, I think about 2 years ago, where there's this young kid in Nigeria who solved some fantastical mathematics problem, right? And if they didn't have access to that problem to try and solve it, they would never have known to do it, right? It's all about access. If we're not presented with such opportunities, we'll not know to explore, right? So everything and anything is on the table. If that's available, let's go at it. And in fact, you can see that for example, Kenya is doing absolutely nothing to invest in that online opportunity. Absolutely nothing. They rather hide under the table or put the kids under a tree. That's exactly what they're doing. Going back to the dark ages.
Youth should actually, take it upon themselves to look for those opportunities, use the internet, do their research, and then start finding ways to solve those problems. Because, we can't always rely on these leaders and these governments, because we don't even know whatever they promise us is the truth. We all know, we all know what's really happening behind the scenes. It's not like it's them dictating what happens. There are other forces that are behind that. So I think when I'm looking for talent, when I'm like trying to hire people, I try to look in Africa online, freelancers. And I've seen that there's a huge pool of talent in Kenya when it comes to, digital stuff, marketing, programming, who have profiles online on these platforms like Upwork. And then, in some countries, you can't even find one person. Say you're looking for a writer. And in some African countries, there's no one to be found. And then when you see in Nigeria, you see like, oh, there's a lot of people. And we see Kenya, there are a lot of people online. And I think, once the youth find out that, hey, we can actually market our skills, in the global marketplace, not just here in Kenya or here in Rwanda, we can actually reach whoever that need your skills in America or in Europe or in Asia, and then compete. What do you think that can help? Because I see Indians have done it. They've positioned themselves as like people, high skilled people who provide a lot of value for not a lot of money, right? And they've managed to compete with other talents in Europe and America. So I think Africans can do the same. Yeah.
I've got to commend the Kenyans because I've seen them writing papers for PhD students in Britain and in the US, and and masters, and like, God bless you guys. You're churning those research papers, like, they're doing good. They've figured out you gotta do what you gotta do to survive. So this is, if you can figure that out, what else can you figure out, right? If you can figure out writing papers for these students in Europe and the US, what else can you figure out? And then, and the other Africans, trust me, truly, it's an access issue. If they had access to the internet, we would have the same thing happening, and it's only a matter of time. It will be that way. The minute it's readily
Yeah.
available and people can go, sit for hours and type, it's that that you can like, I know, for example, there's I learned the other day that Sudan actually pays programmers out in Estonia and Russia to write their apps, to code for their apps and all that good stuff. And they will even pay them to do research papers for any enterprise stuff that they need done. Meaning they have got the cash to do it, but they figured, I don't have the expertise to do it, let me pay somebody who has the expertise to do it. But they're trying to be resourceful. So you do the best you can with what you have, but it's because they don't have the internet where they can sit and do the research themselves. They've got the money, so they pay the guys who have the internet to do the work. See what I'm saying? So what you got, you use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Great. Great. All right. So this last question. So if you had $1 million
Mm-hmm.
and you wanted to invest it,
Yeah.
where would you invest that?
Oh,
Doesn't
biotech.
matter.
I would invest it in biotech.
Okay.
Yep.
Why?
Because let me just say, for us Africans, we know a lot of things, and we share that knowledge with the Europeans and the Americans, and they take the credit and then they go benefit from it, right? So if we built our own biotech ecosystem in Africa, where we created our own medications, we did our own treatments, we did our own research, we have got 1 billion people. We don't need them. We can make healthcare affordable, medication affordable. So it's not just for making money. I think it is just making it sustainable and affordable for Africans. So biotech for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. And what is your plan for my BizMarketer and sister companies? Like, what is your plan for the next 5 years? What do you want to see?
Oh,
Your what impact do you want to see?
oh my goodness. Gosh, I would like to see, so in the next, so the in 5 years, I'd like to see at least 100 companies get $1 million each in investment. And 100 companies don't sound like a lot. I mean, they sound like a lot, but it's hard to get, knowing how many you have to churn out. It may be a big number that may not be accomplished, but I'm putting it out there so that you all can keep me honest and ask me, okay, what number are we at and what have we raised? And then
Yeah.
I can keep at it. That's what we're doing. In 2021, we'll be starting our first round of cohorts which we're calling the big idea. And the big idea is we want startups that have a big idea, the big idea that can go for that $1 million, to come to us and try and go for that investment round. And it doesn't matter what part of the country you are or part of the world you are.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. And then speaking of that, how can people have access to you or check out your programs, your business, get in touch with you? And what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Easy. You can reach me at Eunice at mbmafrica.com. Find me on Twitter at Eunice Nyandat. LinkedIn, easy, Eunice Nyandat. Actually, the best way to reach me is on LinkedIn, Eunice Nyandat. Or just link with me and we can start there.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Eunice. It was a pleasure chatting
Thank
with
you.
you. We had a great conversation. I'm sure our audience will enjoy this interview. And we'll let you go. We'll chat on the other side.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me.